Good evening. I'm Dr. Fred Rouse, the Real Money Doctor, and it's currently Monday, July 20th, and I just wanted to touch base on today's daily events that affect the way you get, protect, and enjoy your money, your life, and your retirement. Well, the question for today is, it's Monday. Are we starting again? And I'll get to that in just a few minutes. But the way we start the shows, what we've been doing since I started doing these in March, is to touch base on the current number of COVID cases, because that's really the single biggest determining factors what's happening in the U.S. right now, and the things that really affect you the most, despite whether you believe that they exist or not. Okay, that current COVID situation is affecting you personally in some way, shape, or form. So right now there are 3,808,000 cases right now in the U.S. That's up another 181,000 cases, new cases, since we spoke on Friday. Now, the total number of cases that have actually recovered is basically 29.7, almost 30%, not quite 30%, of the total number of cases that actually recovered after being diagnosed as COVID. And of the total number of cases that were actually diagnosed, 3.87% have actually died. So despite some of the garbage that you see floating around on Facebook, that it's 0.01% or some other nonsense like that, it's almost 4% of the people that get COVID actually die from it. And there are some people that have light cases. Some people, they get the case, it's semi-severe and it moves on and they're finished. And in other cases, they have a relatively light case or a moderate case, and then they seem to have persistent symptoms and problems over an extended period of time. We don't know what that time is yet because we don't have enough data on that just yet. So if you get this thing, it's not happy. It's not a common cold. Okay, they thought it was that originally. It's not. And again, if you're one of the small kids that get it, there's a whole separate syndrome of events that are happening to smaller children that have this. Now, right now, the total deaths are 140,828. That's another 1,800 people have died over the weekend. 1,800 people died over the weekend. New York still has the number one spot with, right now, 400,000 cases, 407,000 actually cases. They're up 1,775 cases since Friday. The deaths right now in New York total are 32,506. Okay? They're up 54 people have died over the weekend in New York State. So even their numbers are up a little bit. California has a number 2 spot. They've had that spot for almost 3 weeks right now. They have 387,000 cases, 22,000 more cases over the weekend. Their current deaths are at 7,722. Another 115 people died in California from COVID over the weekend. Now, Florida's got the number 3 spot. We'll be talking about Florida in a little while. Texas, number 4. New Jersey's number 5. Illinois has a number 6 spot. Arizona, which has been a hotbed, is got number 7. Georgia's at number 8. Massachusetts at number 9, and Pennsylvania is still at number 10. That list of top 10 hasn't changed in about a week and a half, 2 weeks now at least. And well, it's been busy on many fronts over this weekend. It really has been. And despite what some people say, there is alarming new evidence that blatantly suggests that the U.S. is nowhere near over and done with COVID. 12 states are reporting a record number of new cases, while hospitalizations are up in 17 different states. Of the dozen states that have seen a rise in new COVID cases since Friday, okay, states that saw the largest increase were Florida, Texas, Utah, South Carolina, Nevada, Georgia, Missouri, Montana, Arizona, California, Tennessee, and Oklahoma. Okay. Now, Florida's 3-day streak of record-breaking numbers ended on Saturday with 4,000 new cases. Also on Saturday, the governor, Ron DeSantis, attributed the rise in the state's positive cases to an increase in testing. Okay, that's a line that's been used a lot. The president actually used that line quite a bit, and he was interviewed a couple of days ago. It aired yesterday, I believe, from a Fox News person, and he blatantly said that, "Oh, yep, it's because of the rise in cases." But it was Chris Wallace, and Chris Wallace immediately said, "Hey, the cases are up 27, 37%, whatever it is, but the positivity rate was almost double that, which clearly shows that the virus is still spreading. It's not due to the increased cases, okay, not due to the increased testing." Now, right now during a news briefing, DeSantis said that we're in a much better position today than we were at the beginning of April, pointing to an increase in hospital beds and a decreasing mortality rate. Now, amid the rising numbers, more Florida counties are requiring facial coverings. Orange County, home to Orlando and Disney, okay, started a new order requiring the use of masks in public on Saturday. And Monroe County, which includes the Florida Keys, masks are now required in restaurants and other businesses. Palm Beach County is set to vote on Tuesday as to whether or not they're going to require masks. South Carolina, Nevada, Utah saw their second day in a row of record daily new cases on Saturday. And Missouri had its second straight day of record cases on Sunday. Now on Sunday, the same day that Oklahoma had a record number of cases, okay, the state health department was urging anyone who attended large-scale gatherings, okay, in recent weeks, I wonder what that means, okay, to get tested for COVID. Tulsa, notably, was hosted thousands of Trump supporters, okay, at an indoor rally, okay. Hospitalizations right now for COVID are increasing in 17 states across the country. Those states are Alaska, Alabama, Arkansas, Arizona, Florida, Georgia, Hawaii, Mississippi, Montana, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Oregon, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, and Utah. Now, early data from the trial of 3 potential virus vaccines was also released today, including a closely watched candidate from the Oxford University. Okay, that made the news big time. And there's increased confidence now that vaccine can train the immune system to recognize and fight COVID without some serious side effects. Now, whether or not these efforts are going to result in a safe and effective vaccine capable of actually protecting billions of people and ending the global pandemic is still not exactly clear. Okay, but this is a big deal. Okay, and we obviously require much larger studies to prove that they can actually prevent infections. But we'll see what happens. Now, news doesn't stop there. Oregon Attorney General, okay, Ellen Rosenblum, sued the Department of Homeland Security and other agencies Friday night, alleging that federal law enforcement officers sent to Portland to suppress Black Lives Matter protesters violated the Constitution by unlawfully detaining and arresting demonstrators without probable cause. Now, the lawsuit states that the federal officers have been using unmarked vehicles to drive around downtown Portland, detain protesters, and place them into the officers' unmarked vehicles, removing them from the public without either arresting them or stating the basis for the arrest. And that's been happening since Tuesday, July 14th. Now, the identity of the officers is not known, nor is their agency affiliation, according to videos and reports that officers in question were wearing military fatigues with patches simply reading police. There's no other identifying information. And the lawsuit continues. The suit also claims that the law violated the 4th and 5th Amendment by seizing people without a warrant and denying them due process of law. What a surprise. Okay. Just remotely sound like China? Tiananmen Square, remember those things? This isn't all that far off, folks. Now, protesters have been flooding the streets there in Portland nightly in the last 2 months since the killing of George Floyd, a black man whose death while in custody in Minneapolis triggered the global demonstrations against police brutality and systemic racism. And these tensions just spiked in recent days after President Trump announced that he would be sending federal law enforcement personnel to Portland because the locals couldn't handle it. Well, as part of his ongoing promise to dominate the protesters. Okay. He's trying to get ready to do this again in Chicago. Again, these unmarked federal people just show up at Democratic cities for some reason. Okay. Whatever you think of him, the guy's losing at this point in time. He really is losing it. Okay. Not only is he losing his own supporters, because right now his support level's at 26%. Okay. I don't think he's mentally all there. Okay. His niece, Mary Trump, when she wrote that book, she was a lot closer than what anybody else really knows because, again, she's in the family. She knows what was going on. You might want to read that book. It gets really enlightening. However, since then, videos on social media have shown a frenzy across parts of the city with federal officers in camouflage aiming their weapons and using smoke to press protesters back. Now, videos from recent nights have also shown these officers using unmarked vehicles to detain people off the street. Some were seen rushing into the crowds, striking people with batons. Okay. There's video out there, folks. Ordinarily, a person exercising his right to walk through the streets of Portland who's confronted by anonymous men in military-type fatigues and ordered into an unmarked van can reasonably assume they're being kidnapped. And they'd be a victim of a crime. And that's what Rosenblum lawsuit states. Now, Senator Jeff Markley, in his written statement, said that DHS and DOJ are engaged in acts that are horrific and outrageous in our constitutional democratic republic. First, they're deploying paramilitary forces with no identification, indicating who they are or who they work for. Second, these agents are snatching people off the street with no underlying justification. Both of these acts are profound offenses against the Americans. And Markley continued, he demanded that these officers be removed. Yeah. This action continued, though, to make the news in Portland and across the U.S. as a U.S. Navy veteran, Chris David, said that he thought he'd be able to talk plainly with the federal agents in Portland and ask them why they were using unmarked cars to snatch people off the street during recent protests in Oregon City. And there's video of this one, folks. Okay, when he tried to speak with them outside a federal courthouse in Portland on Saturday night, he said a federal officer beat him with a baton, breaking his hand in 2 places, and a second officer sprayed him with a chemical irritant. Now, he said, I just want to ask them, why are you guys not following the Constitution? But he said he never got that far. They wailed on me like a punching bag, is what he said. Now, in a video appearing to show David being beaten by a federal officer and sprayed with a chemical by another one, he stood there passively. And the whole thing went viral. And right now there's 10.7 million views. Okay, he just stood there. Okay, he identified himself as a Navy vet. He had on a sweatshirt, said Navy across the front of it. Okay, he identified himself as a Navy vet. Didn't matter to these folks. Okay, afterward, Dave was praised on social media for standing up to federal officers, accused of excessive force and escalating violence as they supposedly protect federal buildings. Now, top Homeland Security officials said on Monday that they had no intention of pulling back in Portland and defended the federal crackdown on anti-racism protests, including the use of unmarked cars and unidentified officers in camouflage. Now, Ken Cuccinelli, the acting deputy secretary of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, he told CNN that officers involved in the incident were from the U.S. Federal Marshal Service. Okay. Cuccinelli also said that he had seen the video, but he had not heard the audio or seen the reports from the officers involved in the event. And he just didn't want to comment further. The local Portland police didn't immediately respond to a request for comment on the incident. Demonstration began in Portland in May against police brutality and racial injustice, triggered primarily by the killing of George Floyd. So these things have been going on now for a while. And Portland gets a little out of hand, but the locals there had this relatively under control. They didn't request, nor do they want, the federal people there stirring up the pot. And that's all they're doing right now. Now, the Dow was up today slightly, still sitting around the 2,600 level. And that's going to continue, back and forth, nothing dramatic, until the COVID situation is considerably more under control. And that really brings me to the question for today. It's Monday. Are we starting again? Now, hopefully you had a good weekend. Okay, maybe you were one of the fortunate ones, or were disciplined enough to actually have broken some time away from all the weekly activities and the tech to spend some quiet time with your mind to get that mental, physical, and emotional reset that we all need, especially in times like this. If you did, that's really, really great. However, even as we attempt to reset ourselves, the world keeps going on. And this weekend was absolutely no different, as you can tell. Okay. COVID cases and deaths are rising in at least 25 states. Okay. Yet if you step back from it all, okay, despite the fact that it may make your blood boil for various reasons, depending on your assessment of facts and your personal ideology, okay, did any of that stuff actually add $1 to your retirement account? Now, if you're 50 plus, your retirement situation, okay, cannot be a passing concern any longer. If you're 50 plus and you want to retire at some time with a reasonable lifestyle, today, you need to make this a top priority in your life and every day that you wake up. That single focus on your retirement will get you the time, energy, money, and attention laser focused on that one single goal. From there, you just need to take daily consistent action to achieve that result. Now, how do you do that though? After working with clients for over 30 plus years, and when it comes to retirement, they all seem to have the same basic problem. Over the years, life just got in the way. They all knew they should have saved more. They wanted to, but things just happened. With an ever-changing economy, and they may have ended up changing jobs a dozen times before they were age 50. They may have got married, bought a house, raised kids. All of a sudden, there's a roof repair, a hot water tank goes, you need car repairs, the kids' school, braces, maybe a divorce, or maybe they were taking care of a relative. Okay. The money just came and went along with the time. And then you wake up one day and you're 50 plus and you wonder, what the hell happened? Now you have a really uneasy feeling in your stomach and you realize that you really have a really short period of time to make any really substantial difference in your retirement situation. You know you don't want to be that 70-year-old guy stocking shelves at Walmart, or a 65-year-old waitress at the local diner, or worse yet, having the world see your actual failure when you have to move them to a room in the kid's house because you couldn't afford to keep your own place. It wasn't really completely all your fault. Over the years, you may have worked with several people that call themselves financial planners. Okay? They all wanted to sell you mutual funds and annuities. And that 30-year plan of putting $1,000 a month away into savings, it was a nice thought, but things just happen, and you really never had that kind of money that you can consistently save over the years. And now that just won't work for you at all. You know you don't have that kind of time anymore. You started doing what you were supposed to be doing. Okay, you put money into an IRA or your company 401k plan, but never really grew the way you expected it to. And then you had to pull some of it out for those emergencies along the way. And then when the stock market crashed, you lost 30-40% of your money. Now, you're an intelligent person. Okay, you even try to do it yourself. You subscribe to financial publications, you watch the financial gurus, and you cruise the internet. Okay, you keep looking, and there's just tons of information out there, but none of it really remotely seems right for you. And the more you look, the more time goes by, and it keeps sucking up, okay, that short window of time that you have to get something done, to make a substantial difference, to try to save your retirement. You're feeling right now somewhere between nervous to out and out of control, desperate, searching for something that has some reasonable chance to keep you from actually needing to work into your 70s and beyond, or moving in with the kids. Now, I'm Dr. Fred Rouse, the Real Money Doctor. My only goal is to help you get, protect, and enjoy your money, your life, and your retirement. Now, if you're ready to actually take control of your life, your time, and your money, so that you can give yourself the option to retire in the next 3 to 5 years with the cash flow you actually need to maintain the lifestyle you want and do the things you want in your life without ever having to worry about money or a job again. Okay, it's possible. It's not too late for you. Go to my site, drrousenow.com. Take a look at the video there. See if I can help. Okay. See if this could be a way to save your retirement. Now, I enjoy speaking with you. I've had a good time with you tonight. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow around 7 o'clock. Thank you.